Our sexpert Dorothy Black is joining me in studio, and today we're going to be chatting about premature ejaculation. Dorothy, nice to see you again.
Hi Jennifer, how are you doing?
Good, how are
Excellent.
you?
I'm good.
So today we're talking about premature ejaculation.
Yes.
I love that. I love the hand gestures that come with it. Okay. So
yes.
Premature ejaculation.
Right.
How does it happen?
How does it happen? Well,
I know how it happens.
quickly. So basically, the new research has kind of come out where they've systemized how we look at premature ejaculation. And I'll talk about that just now a bit. But how it happens, they still say it's not a medical condition, so there's not something physically wrong with you. It is 99.9% of the time something psychological. Other people will say that, depending on which groups you're speaking to, that premature ejaculation has a lot to do with how men train their bodies to ejaculate when they masturbate from a very young age. But, you know, I think it's maybe a little bit of a lot of things, but definitely psychological.
So definitely psychological. So if your partner is prematurely ejaculating, or if you're prematurely ejaculating, should you go to the doctor?
No, well, unless there's actually other situations that are coming into play, like erectile dysfunction or like really low sexual sex drive that's just a suddenly onset. Unless there are other extenuating factors, then I wouldn't bother going to go see a medical doctor. However, if you are concerned, then obviously go see someone. But I think the thing you should be doing is maybe going to go see a therapist. So what we actually need to look at is what is premature ejaculation. So what they're saying now is that you've got acquired erectile dysfunction, which means that you've been having great sex all your life and then suddenly you start ejaculating too quickly. Okay. Yeah. And then there's lifelong premature ejaculation, or PE. And so what they say is, like, if you come under a minute or less, or if your man comes under a minute or less, that's a problem. 3 minutes or less, it's less of a problem. But the point is that if you are left unsatisfied, if you're coming too quickly, if you're coming quicker than you want to come, if your man isn't lasting, then it's a problem. You know, it's a problem for you. It doesn't matter whether it's at the 5-minute mark or the 1-minute mark or the 10-minute mark. If you're coming quicker than you want to come, then there's something to look at. And there are ways of going around dealing with that.
Now, should couples be going to therapy together, or should it be just the man?
You know what? I think if a guy's really suffering from PE, and that's got self-esteem issues and confidence issues and issues around his body and issues with regards to women and relating sexually, I think that's maybe something that he needs to do by himself.
Okay, now I know you have some techniques that men can try if they are prematurely ejaculating. What are they?
Well, let's put it this way. If you're with your guy and he's coming too quickly, he's coming too quickly for you, or you're coming too quickly with your woman, the first thing to do is to stop and talk about it. Okay, so if you feel like the experience is lasting too short, or it's not long enough, you need to open your mouths and start talking. Because the first thing you need to do is bring it to the table. Yeah. And without making it an issue. You know, the minute you make something an issue, the bigger issue it is.
Now, should you speak about it right away, or should it be something you
like right afterwards? Like, oh my God, what is this?
Yeah.
No. No. I think, take it. I always feel that, like, the big bedroom discussions, which make us feel a little bit vulnerable, should sometimes be taken outside of the bedroom. So don't do it like on pillow talk, like, wow, honey, that was great. Just a pity that you come too quickly all the time. That's really dissatisfying for me. No. And don't be rolling your eyes. That's not going to help either. So take the discussion, maybe like over dinner or at a time when you're relaxed, and bring it into the conversation as a conversation. It's not a judgment. You're not fighting. You're not arguing. You're curious. You're getting information. You're giving information. So, there's stopping and there's talking about it and what you want and what satisfies you. But the techniques involved with it, some people will say this is quite contentious. Some people say it works, it doesn't work. Science, researchers, everybody's going to have their own story. Right. But this is what Masters and Johnson came up with, was the stop-start method, which means that if you're with your partner or you're by yourself and masturbating, is that you stop just before you ejaculate. So you bring yourself up to a peak just before you ejaculate, you stop. And you keep doing that until your times get longer and longer. Some people use a fleshlight for this. Okay. You know what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
But maybe people don't know what it is, so maybe you should explain it to us.
So a fleshlight is a sex toy for guys, which is like a sheath, like a penile sheath, basically, which can often look like a really nasty plastic vagina, but there's some that don't look like vaginas at all. And then you can use that men sometimes use that to help them practice getting out of peeing, out of the habit of it, if it's a habit. So there's that, and then there's also the squeeze technique, where if your guy's about to come, you take the head of his penis in between your thumb and your forefingers, and you give it a good squeeze for about 10 seconds. So that'll stop him from ejaculating.
And then do you continue
and
afterwards?
then you continue. You know, I think people get very caught up in the idea of having to orgasm, or they think that they need to, rush through the process from foreplay, and then we're having sex, and then we come, and then it's over. I think people can really use this as a way of exploring each other and taking their time with each other, because it also means that you have to get to touch each other a lot longer, kiss, heavy pet, do a whole bunch of other stuff before penetration. So practice taking your time. Take a lot of time. If it gets to a peak, stop. Go back to foreplay, or to touching, or to heavy petting, or to oral, and then go back to penetration. And you can stop. And if you're the woman who is with a guy who suffers with PE, get on top and you control the rhythm. So you can tell when a guy's about to come, or if he says he's about to come, then stop, pull back, and then start again. But those are techniques that'll help maybe deal with the physical aspects of it. But I think the why of why someone's going through a PE situation will still need to be addressed. And that means maybe doing some introspection and speaking to someone that can help you with that.
Okay, well, that was all very great information, I think, for people who are affected by PE. But what are some things you should not do?
Don't be rolling your eyes, making a mission out of it, and blaming. So no blaming, no...
Do you find women often blame or get annoyed?
I think, because I think men, unfortunately, we say, women are incredibly affected by how society thinks we should and shouldn't be, but men are affected by exactly the same things. So we have this idea that men are supposed to just always be turned on, always ready for sex, get a hard on in 10 seconds flat. And then follow through and be able to be hard the whole time through. Men are people too. Let's just bring that, right back to it. They have feelings and emotions, and so if someone is already in a vulnerable position where they feel like that they're not performing right, and then their partner in that space rolls their eyes, harims, blames, goes, what's wrong with you? There's definitely something wrong here. All of which I am guilty of doing in the past. It's crap. It's a really shitty thing to do. Don't do it. Have a little bit of compassion, and then if your partner is willing to embrace it, talk about it, move through it, practice the techniques, but don't, no blaming, no eye rolling, no arguing. This isn't anybody's fault. It's not your fault. It's not his fault. It's just
happening.
It's just happening, and it's something else to talk about and to deal with.
Well, I know you just said that you have been guilty of doing it in the past.
Yes.
What if as a woman you find yourself maybe it just comes out or you're doing it? How do you fix that, and how do you move on from there? You know what I mean?
So you're in the middle of it.
Say you roll your eyes.
It
happens. You roll your eyes. You get annoyed, and then you catch yourself doing it. Is there any coming back from that?
Yes. I mean, you just apologize. I'm sorry. Like that was bad behavior. I'm sorry. I won't do that again. It worked for me. And then don't do it again.
Yeah, that's the hard part, I think.
What about your sex toy? No, maybe don't do that. Not right then. Anyway.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Jen.